why is being persecuted actually a blessing?
Yeah, so I think when a lot of people, especially Christians, when they think about persecution, they usually would think that persecution is a bad thing, that it's something that we don't want to have to face, it's something that we shouldn't face. If we're being persecuted, maybe we're doing something wrong. But really, when we look at persecution, it's something that followers of Jesus shouldn't necessarily go looking for, but it's something that we should rejoice in.
Right.
And first and foremost, it's because Jesus was persecuted. And so part of what it means for us to be followers of Jesus, part of what it means for us to grow in that faith journey is to grow to be more and more like Christ. It grows us in our faith. It makes us more mature. And in doing so, we experience fullness. We experience fullness of Christ. And it helps us recognize that the things of this world are going to fail us. And it's only in Jesus that we can have that fullness. And so persecution points us to Jesus. But still, that doesn't make it any easier. And as followers of Jesus, I know I've experienced lots of different forms of persecution. So Jonathan, let me just ask you, what are some of the kinds of persecution that you faced in your own life?
I think there's three that I think of. One is insults, just being insulted because I'm a believer, I'm a follower of Jesus. And that can come in various ways. It can be very, inflammatory, or it can be as simple or quote unquote as innocent as, well, you're just a goody two shoes, or you're uptight, or you don't know how to have fun, right? Those small words that can cut and demean are really frustrating, and I think it's a form of persecution. I think secondly would be being excluded from certain things. Because you're a Christian, you would never want to go with us to this place. You would never want to be a part of this outing or this event. I think of myself being a pastor, and I can't tell you how many times I'm waiting in line somewhere and I'm talking to someone, we're having a great conversation, and ultimately the question of what do you do gets brought up, and I say I'm a pastor, and it's like automatically the conversation stops. The door's closed because they have this preconceived notion of me and who I am. And so I think that's when, and finally I think it's just straight up slander. People lie about you. I have been lied about. I have been discredited in certain ways when things just were simply not true. And so I think those are three really practical ways that we can face persecution. I think sometimes we fall into this understanding of what persecution is, and we make it these big and great things, losing your life or being physically maimed and things. And please don't get me wrong, those things are very real. But we also want to be honest and say, even here in America, as American Christians, we do face forms of persecution, and it can be difficult to deal with.
We do. So when people find themselves in persecution, how do we deal with it? How do we prepare for it? And then especially when we're facing it, what would you say is the best way or one of the best ways for us to kind of process and walk through that season?
The first thing we can't do is we cannot do it alone. We can't do it on our own. That's going to lead to frustration. That's going to lead to disappointment. That's going to lead to anger. That's going to lead to lashing out. And we don't want to do that, because anytime we get outside of who Christ has called us to be, we're going to begin to act in the flesh and do things and hurt people. And so I think the first thing we do is we have to find community. And well before that persecution comes, we should be in community right now. You should be actively engaged in a church, in a small group, where you have that community around you to encourage you and to lift you up, to hold you accountable as well.
So be in community, have community, look for it now. I know, at least for me, having true, meaningful gospel community is something that takes time.
Absolutely.
There's a season of my life where my wife and I moved from one city to another. It really took us about 2 years to really find what we felt like was true gospel community, where we had depth of relationships with other Christians. And so if you're somewhere in your life right now and you don't have what you would feel like as true gospel community, if you don't have somebody that you could reach out to encourage you, to keep you accountable, don't wait till you're in that season of life where you're being persecuted. Community is something that we're all called to be in, whether you're facing persecution or not. But as you said, it's even more so important when you are in persecution. So I think what our encouragement would be for people today is, as we're thinking about persecution, is to start looking for community. Start looking for relationships, start looking for people that you can grow, that can help you grow in your walk with Christ, that can help you mature, and that then can help you walk through those seasons of persecution, which again is a test of faith and helps grow you as well. But we're not going to be able to walk through that alone. So really that would be our encouragement, is find community. We've got a number of small groups at Lifespring Church that you could be a part of. That you could check out. But who in your life can help you grow in your faith? Who can help you keep accountable? Who can disciple you? Who can you disciple? we've all got people that can help us with that. So I think that'd be a question for you, is who's that person? Who are those people that you can come alongside, that you can be in community with?
And I would say think through that, pray through that, and honestly, if you can't find someone, our hope and our encouragement is to find someone you're already connected to, a church family you're already connected to. But if you can't find someone, if you don't have one, reach out to us. We would love to talk to you. We would love to encourage you and help you find that community. I think a great way to end it is just to be encouraged that knowing Jesus is knowing persecution.
Yes.
As a follower of Christ, it's going to come. It's nothing about you personally. It's nothing against you personally. It's really ultimately against the one that we follow and the one that we give our life to in Jesus. And so be encouraged by that. Go forward in community, in gospel community. Get that accountability, get the encouragement you need to stand firm in your faith and to face that persecution really with a smile on your face and thanking God that you've been able to go through it.